present, are all present, minus Bob Maderas. Hopefully he's okay today, had some surgery. Anyway, get started. And we are being taped today.
Motion to open the meeting?
Second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So vote. A letter from community nurse. 24 attendance.
Motion to place on file?
Second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
All voted. We'll go right to plans. I believe most of these, all of these plans have been reviewed and they're corrected plans. Am I correct? There were corrections on all of them?
Not all of them.
No?
No, the first one, there's one,
Nothing has been submitted on number one.
yeah, there's a couple of them there that are different.
Okay.
but-
So
So,
we'll go to South Main Street,
that one, we got a table, they haven't submitted a revised plan yet.
okay?
They did get our
Motion to
comments.
table.
Second the
Number one.
motion, all in favor, that's tabled, it's 1618 South Main Street. Next one is 59 Lane.
Yep, that one, it was reviewed, there was a couple of comments that they made the corrections to, which was a monolithic tank, and some basic elevation differences.
Yep,
Um,
all right, so we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance
Second.
and the plan together.
Okay, I'll second both those. All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. Motion to pass. Next one would be 289 Main Street. Septic repair plan. Didn't we review that before?
Yeah, that was actually denied at the last meeting.
Right.
It was corrected and resubmitted, and really no comments on it, once
Yeah.
they designed it
They
properly.
did, yeah, they did what we wanted. They wanted
Okay.
water service on the leach
Yeah.
field.
Yeah.
Flip flopped them. Motion to approve the plan.
Second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Then we have 1239 Main Street. Septic repair.
Yeah, this one, we had a couple of comments on it.
Did that come before us already?
No, this one
No.
didn't.
Okay,
It's all really fabulous soil out there, it's on the corner of Lake Street. It was just the elevations of the system, the comments were the elevation of the system, it needed to be a little bit lowered into the C strata, and add the details of the existing inverts. And they made those corrections, and
Oh yeah, this is the huge house on the corner.
yeah,
huge.
Motion to approve the plan.
I'll second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So voted. And we're going to 15 Morse's Lane. That's a septic repair also.
yeah, 15 Morse's Lane, it had a few comments, definitely, this one had a few comments, most of it was just, minor. This was somewhat a remove and replace in places, a very limited amount of space on that particular lot. It was changed out from a leaching field to, a galley system. But they did address all the comments, there was 8 of them, they addressed all of them.
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to no changes from conservation, because they had a
Yeah.
filing,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely, yep.
as long as
Right.
there's some changes.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. 94 Paris Lane.
Yeah, 94 Paris Lane is a repair, really, there's a very large lot there.
Right.
There is, really, there was no issues for this one
We
either.
used to plow that beautiful area there. Nice place.
There's no variances on it?
No.
That's right, it was gravity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, motion to approve the plan?
Second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So voted. Map 9, lot 18A, Perry Hill Road.
A motion to table,
Okay, yeah.
Well,
or is it the wrong? Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Motion to table.
Second,
minute.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I'm
Yeah,
ready.
need-
yeah, yeah.
You're on that, Dave, you can't do that. right? Motion to table, I'll
Yes.
second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So voted, I think you need to do it on the next one.
Yes, motion to table the next
Second that motion, all in favor?
one. Aye.
So voted, that takes care of the plans. So we'll go to discussion, 396 Middle Road follow-up, review of matters, votes may be taken.
That,
It's still,
if it continues on, it's certainly not going as fast as I would like, but it's getting done, so
They're working on
working on it.
it? Okay. Actual construction work, right? Yes,
Yeah.
no?
Yes,
No.
no, I mean, the machine is there, it's a little bit
they're
of
renting the space.
getting, a little bit of a money issue, but, you know, it's moving. I mean, it is, because I stay on it constantly to the best of my ability.
We're not gonna be stalled and like the winter shows up as an excuse, are we?
That's
I fully don't expect that at all.
Okay.
I mean, it's not, we could go down another road, but it's there.
Okay.
They're working on.
Motion to keep it on the agenda.
Second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So voted. 19 Dowling Street, Title V sanitary code.
So I know that they've actually are bidding out the design of the sewer right now. They did get one price back, it was kinda high, but they continue, I'm waiting to hear back on the other contractors, prices,
Mhm.
so.
Motion to keep on the agenda.
All right, I'll second that, all in favor?
Aye.
80 Mecca Way, that's been, that
Yeah.
was actually, those people knew that, that was before.
So, no, they were supposed to, or there was some discussion about them moving out. As of, the last time that I talked to them, which was maybe a couple of weeks ago at this particular point in time, they were still living there. We had a discussion about what was going on. They were planning on finding someplace else, the best that I know. But this particular unit is in really bad shape. And it has a tremendous amount of violations that need to be corrected, both from the building department standpoint and the Board of Health standpoint. The letter, or basically the way that I've gone about enforcing to this point is the fact that it wouldn't take much for us to go ahead and bring that, condemn it. So we're looking at where the tenants are,
I
or
thought
I'm watching where the tenants are.
I thought the tenants moved out, weren't they?
They were supposed to, at the original discussion, they were gonna start looking for someplace else, but they hadn't been able to find someplace else. So, it's, you know, we're watching, both me and Jim are very much monitoring the situation on.
Not a healthy environment.
Not a healthy environment. We've been in touch with town council. As a matter of fact, we have another follow-up conference call with town council about how to move forward with this particular situation. But I just want you guys to be aware that
So it's,
this could be,
Should we be moving into condemning the
we're
place?
working on it right now.
so in that case, when you're condemning it and it's a rental,
Well, this-
we're responsible to put those people in.
No, from the way that I understand it right now, there's a couple of different ways that we can look at it. The building department, the building commissioner can condemn it, which would be different than if we condemn it. You know, absolutely, there's some requirements for us in the event that we do condemn it, but nothing that is there, nothing that would require us to put the tenants up, but potentially pay for moving costs.
Yeah.
So we're just, again, right at the moment there, again, in any situation like this, you have the tenants, you have the landlord. The tenants, you know, obviously, they need to have a place to live too.
Right.
So they want to try to find a place to live. I mean, that's the ideal situation. You know, if we turn around and jump on the condemning it right away, then that creates another issue for them. So we're just,
Would be nice to see the people find another place.
but in the event that they do move out.
Where does the owner stand?
You would think.
He has been working on making corrections, although he doesn't interact with me at all. He interacts with the building department or the building commissioner. And the tenant has interacted with me as we've gone along. We've gone out there, both me and the building commissioner, done different inspections. He has moved forward in doing some of what I requested, but the result, the end result is that I don't believe he's going to be able to satisfy both the building commissioner and what is required by the housing code in regards to air quality.
So this is different than the last one we dealt with at the mobile home park, where
Yeah, this
where
is-
the owner wanted
this
the
is-
person to
yeah.
go.
This is real different.
So
This is really,
that-
yeah,
that's
this is
kind
all-
of it is. I mean, if the tenant moves out, then it should become incredibly easy to condemn it. The tenant stays there, right now, we're working,
Can we fine the owner of the property for not moving on this?
well, I'm working on that right now, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I'm in talking with town council the way that I'm talking about.
things
town
taking
council.
slow baby steps, moving with the building department, but he's not, he's not.
So
moving
basically,
with
the
what we're
whole,
required, what our requirements are.
from the way I see it, and Jim's looking at it from the fact that it's a mobile home that has been converted, so there's been chunks of it that have been cut out, and things have been added onto it, and from his standpoint, and he's written a letter to this effect, that he at least needs a structural engineer to try to, because some of it was not permitted at all.
Mhm.
So he feels as though he needs a structural engineer to try to, a structural engineer to certify that the thing is not gonna implode. So that's one side of it, and I don't know.
I would think that just on the health issue sides, that they should it should be condemned. Just on the issues with this department, not even construction wise, because if you look at that, it's about ready to fall apart.
Yep. And
It's
it's-
been an issue, I'm very familiar with what it is,
Yep.
in that particular area.
I don't disagree.
It's been an issue for years.
Mhm. I don't disagree. And at this
I
point,
just feel that that, you know, with what we're dealing with, within this department, that those people shouldn't be living there. They got a young child, they got a baby.
yeah, I mean, again,
I think they'd want to be out of
they want to, and I think they're working hard to do that.
there.
I know they are.
Okay.
You know, it's not a matter of that they don't want to.
I'm only concerned about saying that child particularly becoming ill.
Yeah, I
And
understand, and.
Where, you know, I know we're trying to force them to find a, not forcing them to, but we're suggesting that they find a place. But,
If we condemn it, I mean, obviously, we'll have to go through a hearing to condemn it, whereas it won't necessarily have to happen if the building commissioner condemns it. If we go through that hearing to condemn it, the reality is that the tenants are out, all right? And then it doesn't matter, that the tenants are out. And we don't have to worry about that. But as humans, we do.
right.
So this is kind of where I've been at.
Mhm.
You know, they know the situation. We've gone through this from the beginning, and they're doing what they can to try to move forward. They obviously have the ability to hold the landlord liable for anything at this particular point,
Okay.
you know, and they're well aware of where they stand in this.
Motion to keep it on the agenda.
Second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
So voted. Next is a retreat lot, D Peckham Road, Lot D Peckham Road. Septic design plan, review of matters presented.
Yeah, so this is, something that was approved with conditions, a septic plan that was approved with conditions, I don't know, a couple of months ago at this point. And, I wanted to bring it back in front of you because of some concerns really that have been brought up, when it was originally approved, it was approved with the requirement, you know, that a cross-section and a retaining wall detailed by a structural engineer be provided to us.
Okay,
It's off of Peckham Road.
is that the one when
It's
the street came in that time?
Yep.
Correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
there was two people that came in, it was two plants that they, yeah, it was approved in September with the condition to supply the structural engineered information to us. The information was partially submitted to us, and the other part of it, which is a cross-section, was submitted at the same time, but it didn't agree with the plan that was approved. So at that point, I questioned the applicant about getting the plan and/or a proper cross-section that matched what was approved. He indicated to me that he would, but that he would get me a new plan, okay, which would come from the engineer, that would be different than approved, which I haven't received. In the meantime, review of the cross-section and the wall created some, it doesn't match, it created some issues. And also, we'd had the building department review it because it was a retreat lot and it had a common driveway, and we'd run into this issue before, and I wanted, again, I wanted Jim, the zoning enforcement officer, to take a look at it. He did, and he found a significant deficiency in the buildability of this particular lot because of the setback requirement from a common driveway. So as it stands, we have not been able to satisfy, or the applicant hasn't been able to satisfy, or chose not to at this particular point in time, what the Board of Health asked for. And we also have a hiccup here with the building department, saying that it's not a buildable lot. So I don't know exactly, I just want to bring it to your attention first and foremost. I don't know exactly what direction to go on it, but there is obviously, there is an approved plan. There is a possibility of him still coming in here and giving me the plan that matches the cross-section, or giving me a new cross-section that matches the current plan. That is obviously still a possibility. But even if that's the case, at this point, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be buildable by zoning. So,
I'd like to make a motion to withdraw the approval of the plan until such time as they can provide proof of the lot being buildable from zoning, and they can give us a complete package with the retaining wall information that they failed to submit for 2 months now. I just think we're hanging out there in a balance. We shouldn't have been.
Well, we kinda gave them a break to do that.
We did.
They didn't.
Subject to them submitting it, it was 2 months ago, I was apprehensive about it then, so my motion is to withdraw the approval under those two terms until such time as, and not to consider.
Well, they can't move forward anyway.
They can't, but it sounds like they have, where else can they go other than, lawsuits? I don't know, I don't wanna be a part of a lawsuit against the town because we approved something for a lot that's not even buildable.
Well, it's only been presented to us after the fact.
Correct. There's a letter on file now from the building
it
inspector
was
saying
in October.
it's not a building,
So why-
not a
yeah.
buildable lot.
Like,
If I had
total
that before,
agreement to
If I had that before, I wouldn't
Well-
approve the plan.
none of us would, we would just be able to move forward and figure it out, you know what I mean? Yeah, I can go along with that motion. I'll second that motion.
So we withdraw the approval,
Yes.
subject to
To
the lot being buildable.
Right,
Right, subject to, well, two things.
Yep.
A complete application being submitted addressing the retaining wall issue,
and if it's a buildable lot.
and proof that they now have a approvable building. Whether it's from the building inspector, zoning board of appeals, somebody.
That should have been We should have known
Well, I
that
don't-
prior to the fact.
We really wouldn't know that until somebody looked at it from zoning.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, it was something that was of concern once the plan was submitted to this. They didn't submit the building, is what happened at the same time.
Right.
So because they didn't submit the building, it hadn't been put in front of the zoning enforcement officer. But in our normal course of action, us department heads interact with each other on a regular basis so that we try to make the process as smooth as possible for any applicants. And, you know, in that discussion, that's what came out of it. So,
I mean, it's not like, you know, the letter, if it clearly says those two items, they resolve the building issue, buildability issue,
sure.
and they submit something that we asked for initially, which was the retaining wall design, then they, you know, we're okay with the layout of the septic,
Right, they have
two minor glitches.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say all in favor?
I said, yeah, oh, yes, I second the motion and all in favor,
Aye.
so voted. So that's, late fee review of matters,
Yeah, I mean, just, I would say, I haven't done much with that, been busy, busy month. So as much as I wanna do that, if we could just keep that on.
Yep.
Motion to keep on the agenda.
second the motion, all in favor,
Aye.
so voted. Part-time health agent,
So, there was some comments, some additions that David taken a look at, in regards to the job description for the assistant health agent. I incorporated that in. It's in your package. I also brought it over to, the town administrator for her to start taking a look at. I wanna make sure that the salaries are in line. And then at that particular point in time, want to just make sure, double check with her about, you know, legally, how it all sits. And try to start moving forward with the process as soon as possible. I mean, we
and the
have-
money's allocated.
So we have, as, speaking with the town administrator, we did allocate money. It's allocated in a way that we're able to use it for the part-time health agent and or use it for whatever we need in order to get this whole process off the ground. And so, yeah, what I wanna do is my intent, or my thinking is to utilize whatever we need to in there to get it started, get the person started before the beginning of our next fiscal year. And I have also added that into our upcoming budget. I think that you guys have taken a look at it preliminarily. I've looked at it again, we made a little bit of modifications, I'll get that out to you. And just simple stuff, just more fine tuning, if you will, in regards to all of our salaries. And also a couple extra additions in there that I think that are realistic in regards to potential training for the part-time health agent.
It looks pretty thorough, I like it. Move it along and see where it goes.
Yeah, yeah.
Motion to have Joe continue with this process.
All right, second that, all in favor, so voted. Budget fiscal year 2021.
That's, I don't have that yet, but I'll get that to you guys. I have, like you said, I've modified it just a hair, but I wasn't able to get it.
Motion to keep on the agenda until next meeting.
Second the motion, all in favor,
Aye.
so voted. Approve the minutes ready.
Accept the October 29th, motion to table until next
Okay.
meeting.
Second the motion, all in favor,
Aye.
so voted. Next meeting's already scheduled, I believe, for December 20,
So December 30th, it's not necessarily scheduled, it was thought about, but.
Well, we got, this was a Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I just It seemed like 30th is the right, 31st is the day.
First, yeah.
Well, I don't think that's a good day.
No, that's not.
Oh, that's not a good day either.
I'll be in any condition to be at a meeting.
So, I mean, the 30th?
That, yeah, I think I suggest that's the only thing I can come up with, either 30th or the 23rd, I suppose.
The third would be kinda too early, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know, so the 30th on a Monday.
Yeah, I
Otherwise, you float it all the way to the first one of January. I'm open, so.
I'd just push it to January, what do you think?
What would be the first,
Hmm?
I mean, we could just play it out. Well, let's just, I mean, if you wanna give a tentative 23rd or 30th.
Let's keep it open, we'll talk to Bob, see what he thinks,
okay.
alright? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I wouldn't be available on the 23rd, anyway.
alright, so 30th, and then we'll
Right
just
now.
keep an eye on what's going on.
Alright, let's leave it open for now.
We're about to head heavy into holiday season, for sure.
Yeah. Alright,
Motion to adjourn?
second the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
So voted.